Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Okay, my name is Muhammad Syafiq bin Burkiba. Cat matric number I19204064. Okay, today I will present about the application of Murabah contract in Islamic banking product. Okay, the definition. Murabah refers to a sale and purchase of an asset where the acquisition cost and the markup are disclosed to the purchaser. Murabah is a sale and purchase contract which is binding in nature. Thus, the contract shall not be terminated unilaterally by any of the contracting parties. Okay, Murabah means both parties, which is the seller and the purchaser, must have the agreement of the price before makes the transaction. Murabah involves the purchase of a commodity by the bank on behalf of the customer, which is to be sold to customer on a cost plus profit basis. Under this arrangement, the bank disclose its cost and profit margin to the customer. Okay, here are the formula for the cost plus profit basis. Okay, cost price of goods plus the seller profits, then the sale price of goods happen, which is the deferred payment. This deferred payment will charge to the customer. In other words, the bank will buy the desired goods from a third party, which is the supplier, and sell those goods onto the customer for a pre-agreed price. Okay, next we move to basic rules of Murabahah. Okay, firstly, inexistent. Okay, inexistent means the subject of sale must be exist at the same time of the sale. Anything does not exist at the time of the sale cannot be sold, and it's not existent makes the contract will void. Okay, this means the subject or the product of the sale must exist at the time when the transaction or the purchase happen. Okay, if the product or the subject no longer exists at the time purchase is made, then the purchase transaction is considered void or failed. Okay, next 2 is ownership. The subject of sale must be in the ownership of the seller of the time of the sale. If he sells something that is not fully owned by him, the sale of the goods become void. Okay, this means that the goods must fully owned by the seller if the seller want to sell it to another party. If the goods sold is not fully owned by the owner or the seller, then the sales will not happen or will be cancelled. Okay, third is in possession. In possession means the subject of sale must be in physical or constructive possession of the seller when he sells it to another person. Constructive possession means the seller has not taken physically delivery of the goods, but he has control of its right and liabilities of the goods, including the risk. This means a possession here is that the goods are in the seller's pocket. Before he sells it to the buyer, everything about the product is in the seller pocket. The seller has the full right or responsibility for the goods sold. The seller also has the right and liabilities of the goods, including the risk. Risk here means the destruction of or loss of the products. Okay, number 4 is same majlis. The sale must be instant and absolute. The sale of goods at a future date or event is void. The sales need to be made at the same time and on the spot. Okay, it should be avoid if the item will be available in the future, for which there is no fixed date yet. So here means the transaction is made must be at the same time at the same spot. It cannot be buy in the future or in another day that is not set the date yet. Okay, 5 is the value. Okay, value here means the subject of sale must be valuable. The goods must have and explicit material value which can be determined by the market. Goods without real value cannot be bought or sold. Okay, the goods sold must have a material value set by the seller in the market. Okay, if the item does not have a value, then the item cannot be sold in the market, because if the goods has no value, no one will buy the goods because it not have the material value. Okay, 6 is price. The price here means the price of the subject of sale must be certain and becomes a necessary condition to the validity of the sale contract. If the price is uncertain, the sale is void. The goods sold must have a fixed and reasonable price in accordance with the types and condition of the goods. Okay, if the price offered is too high and does not suit with the type and condition of the goods, it will indirectly burden other consumer or other customer because of the higher in price. Okay, next we move to murabahah to purchase order, which is the MPO. MPO divide into two, which is first is binding murabahah and second non-binding murabahah. Okay, binding murabahah here means under a binding murabahah, the parties agree that the murabahah cannot be revoked if the asset is delivered to the order. The purchaser of the asset may even request hamish jiddiyah or security deposit or urban, which is advance payment from the order. A purchase undertaking agreement will usually be signed as well. Okay, the meaning of binding murabahah here, the contracting parties has agreed that the goods cannot be withdrawn if the delivery has been made. The buyer cannot withdraw the product if the delivery was made by the seller. The buyer or purchaser can request a security deposit or advance payment from the order if they want to cancel their order. Okay, second is non-binding murabahah. Under a non-binding murabahah, only a promise or wa'ad is given by the orderer to the purchaser. The order has the option to proceed or cancel the agreement on the date of the delivery, even though the asset is already available. Usually, a non-binding murabahah is practiced for the purchase of asset that is easily disposable or something's transaction for the purpose of creating debt, such as a commodity murabahah transaction. Okay, under the non-binding murabahah contract, only an agreement or wa'ad is given by the buyer to the seller. With this wa'ad, the buyer has the option to either continuing the order or cancelling the order, even the product or the item is available at the market. Okay, that's just for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.